Hey everyone, Ponyo here. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of After Dinner Mints. Before we begin, I highly encourage everyone watching to join us in the Art Blocks Discord. For those watching us on the live stream, there will be people in the community chatting in the Art Blocks Mints channel. A link to the Discord can be found in the description of this video. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode of our weekly show. And now I want to introduce our guest today. We have generative artist Anna Carreras.
Hi, hello, hola, 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 hola.
Thank you, Anna, for joining us today on a early edition. I know you're overseas in Europe, so I really appreciate you making time to talk to the community, talking to me about your background and art and generative art. And let's go ahead and get started. Can you kind of kick things off by telling us a little bit about your background when it comes to art?
Yeah, sure. When it comes to art, it's a different question. But yes, I always wanted to study fine arts, but I had in that moment my mom that was like, oh, no, you have to study something to make a living, and then you will do art by yourself, like a hobby or whatever. So because of her, I ended up studying engineering, and it was like the opposite. But yeah, the things that amazed me and I liked the most during my studies were the creative parts, to build things, to kind of sort of thinking about new inventions or making whatever systems. And at the end, yeah, I ended up doing art when I finished my university, because I used everything that I learned during my studies, the electronics, coding, and wherever. I used it to build interactive installations and generative visuals for that installations. So at the end, it was like, okay, mom, I studied something, and let's try to make a living with that. But making some creative things, creative coding, and creative projects.
Excellent. And then, when you started getting into art, was there like a specific artist or maybe a teacher or maybe a friend that got you into art, and that's what kind of like sparked your interest in moving forward?
Yeah, yes. This is like 20 years ago or 17 years ago. Yeah, let me remember that, think about that. I think it was little by little, because I started doing creative projects, interactive installations, and while doing that I was more into it, like feeling that I really enjoy being creative and mixing technology and art. There is a huge community here in Barcelona who is mixing and doing research on technology mixed with art from an artistic perspective and a design perspective. And I have friends and colleagues I was collaborating with in several projects. And I think I was going deeper and deeper into this field and getting more and more engaged with the artistic explorations, and lately with visuals and create generative art. Yes, sure.
Got it. And then, you were saying, 20 years ago, you were talking about mixing technology with art. I feel like that, 20 years ago, that's like, what was the pulse of, the community or the people you're surrounded by? Were a lot of people doing the same thing, creating, like mixing technology and art, or was that something that was fairly new in the community that you're a part of?
Yeah, it was really, really new. We were just pushing the boundaries here in Barcelona, and like trying to convince people like, no, this is culture, this is part of the cultural stuff, this is art, but we are mixing things. So maybe it's not the way that you are used to see it, and we had to explain it a lot what we were doing. But we have also relation. There are some places in Barcelona that where were nice to us, and they let us use their spaces or to be there in residencies, artistic residencies, and explore things. So little by little, I think we have grown a nice community. And at the beginning, it was more into into electronics. One part of the community was really deep into electronics, and the other into visuals. But a little by little, we have mixed a lot, and now we are doing visuals with robotics, theater, augmented. Scenographies in theater. So yeah, I think now it's a good moment in Barcelona because a lot of people is exploring this kind of creative technologies and creative art. Yeah.
Definitely. And then, during that time, was the only place that you could create these pieces, was it at the university, or is it something that you're able to like take home and kind of tinker with, outside of school? Because I feel like, when something's pretty new, then there's only so many places you can go to kind of create and tinker and just kind of like make things. But, obviously over time, it's been a lot different. Technology's changed.
Yeah, there at at school, at university, we had some studies in art, and where I was teaching creative technology for art students, and yeah, that was a nice community. That built nice community inside the university. But we have hangar, which is a place where we usually go to make these weird things. And we have outside there a little bit community that has no place or no, yeah, we don't have a place to settle down, but the community is there. And as Barcelona and Spain is not that big, we are really, really related. So I know people from Madrid, I know people from Valencia, and we are sharing knowledge or sharing projects that we know. And in that time was even like that, even with people more closer that you can speak. And after all, yeah, this builds a nice community that can help you to evolve and improve.
That's great. And then, what was your introduction into the crypto and NFT space?
Oh yeah. My, the introduction was this year, 20 and 21,
Wow.
and
Okay.
which has been for me a really crazy year. Um, Last year during lockdown, I was everyday coding things for sketching, playing around. I had the time to stop and make a pause in other projects because everything was yes, well, slowed down. And I gave me some time every day to code, to create generative art, and I was posting that on Twitter. I'm sharing that just to see, and I think it was a nice moment because people at home were eager to feel the culture, to have to see art, to watch art, to listen to music, to watch movies. And yeah, then just some commissions arrived. And yeah, I had some offers to participate in several exhibitions.
That's great.
Then I made nice friends and who brought me into other NFT spaces. I was already following other generative artists that I have been following for several years, yeah, for years. And they were doing this kind of thing, and I was just curious. But at the end, someone just invited me for an exhibition, and I couldn't say no. It was
That,
the perfect
that's great. So
opportunity. Yeah.
how did you learn
Sorry.
about the Art Blocks platform then? Was there other generative artists that you were following and you kind of saw them jump on that platform and you kind of like reached out, or how did that come about?
That come because I was in an exhibition before in January. I don't know. I was in no, in April. I was in an exhibition with Dimitri, with Manolo, with Frederic,
Oh,
with
wow.
Leah, with this kind of, and Dimitri just wrote me like you have to be on art blocks, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I have to think about that and have a really a project that I feel comfortable, that I would like to explore a little bit more to be there with a strong thing or something that I'm comfortable with. And he was like, yeah, yeah, you have to be there. Okay, okay. And we left that. But then I had Magdes Lorias writing me on Twitter also, messaging, DMing me,
That's
like,
great.
oh, Anna, maybe you can be on in our bots.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God. And then I have Aaron yeah, texting me, like,
Uh
Anna, I think you probably
huh.
had to be on our blogs. And I was like, okay, I have to consider seriously
Yeah.
that maybe I have a project in the near future for art blogs. And that, yeah, that was my story ending up with art blogs.
That's great. And then,
Yes.
can we see some of your early generative art pieces that you created? I know
Oh.
you have some pieces that you like to share.
Yeah, sure. They are the ones that have been sharing on Twitter, so people can then explore them in a, yeah,
Okay.
in a more post or relaxed way. But yeah, that's the things that I was. This is the kind of things I was sharing
Do you want to pull up your
last
shared
year.
screen?
Yes.
Okay.
This is my, yeah. This is my share
We'll go
screen.
ahead
Yeah.
and patch you in real quick.
Okay. Yeah. And now I don't see you, but I hope you are seeing my screen
Yeah, we're about
because I'm
to. There you go,
sharing.
right there.
Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah, I just start exploring things about patterns and colors, some color palettes. And then things just went crazy because I was having fun doing these kind of things. And then exploring different algorithms, but also different kind of textures or ways of thinking about the art pieces I was doing. And I was just having fun and having fun with several, yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Oh,
mind
yes.
stopping
Oh,
on one
yes.
of them, and then that way maybe we
Yes,
could just
sure.
talk about one of the pieces, like this one right here.
Sure.
Maybe
Yes,
about like
sure.
some of the shapes and colors. Like, is there any influences behind these, or is this something that you kind of just like tinkered with, and then this is kind of like the general outputs?
This was, yeah, a general output, but here, for example, I was playing with marbles, and from this one, I went. You can see the day before or 2 days before, I was playing with this idea, and then I went to marbles because it's something I played a lot when I was a kid, and it was like, ah, okay, if I have something like this, maybe I can create marbles. And I was playing around, yeah, different arrangements, sizes, and shapes of marbles. So it were really small sketches to play around. Some of them are inspired in some previous work of the previous week, so they are more evolved. Other ones were just for playing around and trying some kind of, you see here, another kind of textures. And it was, yeah,
Wow.
is there,
Yeah, it's such a
I
wide
have a
variety. I
bunch
mean,
of
you've been
them.
doing it every day, you said, during lockdown?
Yes, almost every day
Wow.
during lockdown.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And do
Yeah,
you,
it was cool even for me because it was a way to yeah, finally have the time to have some outputs and
mhm.
to see what's happening and get more into to narrative. And yeah,
And
it
do you have
was super.
when you're actually coding, do you have any, rituals you do before you start coding? Like, do you brew up a cup of coffee or tea, or do you listen to specific music, or, is it just more like opening
Oh,
it up and just getting after it, basically?
let me close this because I have to confess. I only have, I unshirt my screen. Yeah, I only have one ritual.
Okay.
I have to pee because if not, I get nervous and I cannot
Yeah.
concentrate on what I'm doing.
Well, hey,
So
I mean,
it's
whatever, it takes to make you focus. I mean, I feel like everyone's got
it's
something, so I think that's great.
yeah, it's like I. it's something I have to do because if not, it makes me feel uncomfortable and I cannot concentrate as I want to code. So yeah, just,
Well, I appreciate you for being honest. I think everyone should do that, hopefully before they code, and that way they don't have to think about it. They just like, just start coding
yes,
and, start working.
yes, you don't have that pressure and you can just feel comfortable and yeah,
I love it.
and concentrate on and enjoy what you are doing, which I think it's a nice part. Even if
Absolutely.
you have bugs and you get obfuscated with something, it's like, no, but yeah, you
Yeah,
need that.
definitely. And so you were saying, during the pandemic, you were coding every day to test the ideas that you had in your mind for years. How much time were you dedicating to coding each day? Was it, first thing when you woke up, maybe a couple hours, and then you stopped and then, had more time later in the day? Or is it just like you had a 1 hour block and this is like the time you're coding and then kind of move on?
No, I was more hours. Yeah, I was like taking break after breakfast. I was coding all the morning, maybe having a walk, and then um, if something, if I had something stuck in my mind after lunch, I continued. But yeah, sometimes was only during the morning, and some days was all the day. Yeah, because it was we didn't have anything to do. We have
Yeah, yeah.
anything to do here, and I was so involved in coding and making generative, and it was for me it was something that really helped me to go with the lockdown
Yeah,
during the
absolutely.
pandemic.
And how
Yes.
was that for the lockdown where you were? Is it you could only go out for, necessities, so you basically had to, pretend you're going to the grocery store, or was it just like you're allowed to go on walks and do things during that time?
You were only allowed to go out for groceries,
Okay.
and then after 1 month or yeah, something like that, we were allowed to go outside walking, but just in 2 hours in slots.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like young people was allowed to go walking during the morning, elderly
Oh,
during
wow.
the early morning, so they didn't meet, and then yeah, and then in the evening we were allowed to go out, and it was like everyone was in streets, good weather in spring here in
Hmm.
Barcelona, and people was at home like and when they allowed us to go out, everyone was walking in the mountain, going to see to yeah to the sea again. It was nice.
That's great. And so, during these walks, was that like a time for finding inspiration for projects that you're working on? Or is that just more of a time
Sure,
to just like forget about everything and then kind of just, enjoy your time
sure.
outside?
I usually walk, yeah, I usually hike in the mountains near Barcelona, and we have the Pyrenees 2 hours far by car, which is not that far. So
Hmm.
we are in the sea, but we have quite high mountains, 2 hours by car. So yeah, that's a huge huge the landscape is one of my huge yeah inspirations.
Yeah.
I have a lot about my culture and my landscape. I put a lot of that into my work, and definitely that's an inspiration. Sometimes it's, as you say, something to forget about everything and just be there, which is nice because it's something that makes you like a reset, and you can breathe and yeah just empty your mind. And sometimes when you empty your mind, it's something, then
Pops
after
up.
emptying it, it came ta ta ta
Yeah,
ta
yeah.
ta 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 ta, a lot of ideas. And then it's crazy because you are hiking down the mountain like, oh, I have this idea and that one, but I will forget them because I don't have my
Piece of paper
yeah,
or your
paper
phone.
or
Yeah.
phone, nothing. And it's like, oh. But even if you forget them, they in at some point they come back or they
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
that's
If it's
that's
meant to
cool.
be, or if it was a great idea, it'll, pop up. at some point.
Yes,
So,
yes,
so your first project on Art Blocks is Curated. It was called Trossets, not Trossets, as we've kind of talked about a little bit earlier on. Can you talk to us a little bit about, the idea behind Trossets, and then also just maybe some of the inspiration behind creating that project?
yes, sure, sure. The super early, super early inspiration is on paper. And some sketches like, okay, some pieces, something here. And I just was like, not this part, but this one, or something like this.
Great.
Yeah, it came from another project I was exploring. I had I during the lockdown, you saw that I had these funny things making generative art, and I had a lot of fun with this kind of patterns through shed patterns, which sounds like through sets, like.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had a lot of fun with that, and I thought I can maybe explore a little bit further these ideas. And then I had a project, a commission for a project, which is not an NFT. It was in a real life, yeah, an analogical project. And it was the first time I explored a little bit the idea, but it was just with few blocks that finally went into through sets.
Hmm.
And when I was working in that project, I was like, ooh, this idea can grow and maybe I can push it further. And then it will make really such a diverse output that can be nice. And it was the time that I had already the messages from Dimitri, Matt, and Aaron, and I was like, maybe this is something I can work
Yeah, yeah.
on. And if I explore it further, it can be something interesting to share on our blogs. And that was the idea. Yes.
Excellent. And then, so you were saying, can you actually share some of the images of how it got
Yeah.
started and how it evolved?
Yeah, sure. I will share you some of the images and how it started and some of the images about the inspiration, the color palette inspiration
Yeah,
on
that'd
True
be
Sets,
fantastic.
which is quite special for me. Let me show the screen. Yes. Yeah. This is I don't know if you see
Yeah,
this.
we're gonna just patch it in if you want to give us
Okay.
like 2, 3 seconds.
Yeah, sure. Let me know when you
Okay,
see this orange
there we go.
red. Okay. This is the project behind True Sets. It was an exploration of these patterns and subdivisions with something geometrical. And yeah, you see, it's really something there because it's something geometrical that True Sets also had. But it was really crowded. So I started to try to let it breathe.
Hmm.
And then something here has already the flavor behind True Sets because it's using four of the blocks that are used also for building True Sets. Not the same ones, different ones, but this idea of exploring maybe big patterns in the center and then smaller patterns in the edges. I was exploring that. Then, as it was a project for India, I add some symmetry in the
Wow. Yeah.
middle of the images, so it's more like, yeah, something that for me feels more more India for me. I don't know
Yeah,
why,
and
but
I love these pieces because they really bring out your imagination. Like we'll talk about. I know in a minute. A lot of collectors have noticed different animals or faces. I kind of see
yeah.
like sometimes I see some kind of like futuristic, like UFOs or some
Oh,
sci-fi kind of
yes.
scenes in there, or like even like a dragon in some of them. But I think that's
Yes.
what I love about this project so much is that you can really, spend time kind of looking at each mint and then being like, you know what, this is this is what this reminds me of. Like, it's going to be a little bit different, I think, for everyone. But I think that's
Yes.
such a beautiful part about this project.
Yes, you are right. We are having a hunting game on Discord. I will unshare my screen. Talk to you again.
Okay.
We have a hunting game on Discord about that because from this project I just showed you, I knew that some birds could appear in the negative space of Trossets. But I knew about the birds, but then something on Discord channel was like, I found a duck. And it was I was like, a duck? Oh, I knew about birds, but
Yeah.
well, a duck, and we were just where, and he just pointed like here, and then we see ducks, little birds, and then we had dragons and horses. Yeah, I can share with you some of
Yeah,
the
please. Yeah, it'd be
photos.
great to
It
see
was
some of these.
let's share
I think a
again.
lot of people, when the project minted out, it's, we all look through the different mints, but it's not until somebody brings up some of these, different features, or not features, but I guess some of these like different images of, animals that I think people can start looking for those.
Yes, these are not features. It was not planned to be there. So it's impossible for the algorithm to know that there can be some birds in the lower left part. There's this green bird that I knew something that like that could appear in the negative space. But then we had these ducks, and with little duck with kissing a little bird, and in the left, yes, and in the left, sorry, in the lower left part, there's this triplet with a bird, a duck, and a little bird. A bird feeding a little bird and a duck. So it's like
A
we
family
were
of
just
birds, or yeah.
yes, we were just getting crazy. And after the bird, it came the horses. Yeah, Tabby.
It's like Gonzo, is that from
Yes,
Sesame Street?
and
Yeah.
Aramono just found Gonzo there. Like, I found a Muppet there, and it was like, okay. And yeah, we are having a lot of fun with this because it's like, oh, your Trossette has birds? No, I don't know. Which birds? Oh, yeah, you have one here. And it's quite funny. Yeah, and we have been talking about dragons, about students. Yeah, we are getting really, really, really crazy with this.
That's awesome. That's so great. And then can you talk to us a little bit about, I know you mentioned, the color palettes. It's
Oh,
an
yeah.
inspiration from the Spanish Mediterranean landscape. Can you just kind of touch
Yes.
base of like, are these places you've been to, or are these places you've seen like online, or yeah, if you don't mind giving us a little bit of the background about the color
Yeah,
palettes.
sure. They are all places I've been to. Yeah, and all the photographs I'm sharing on Twitter regarding these color palettes inspirations, they are mine. Some pictures I've taken in some, I don't know, during some summer or maybe a weekend, or I was traveling with friends and we had those pictures. I will share you. And it's like, yeah, it's something that if I can bring something to collectors and to art, which is really special from
Yeah.
Barcelona. It's something like the landscape I'm related to, the culture, or even the food, which I think it's
Yeah.
really colorful. And for me, it's also a source of inspiration. So yes, I will share with you some of
Okay.
these ideas I have been, and it was something that was not I didn't plan to share that, but after releasing through sets I thought, well, it's something that it's nice, so maybe I can share. For example, this is a corner of Ibiza Island, where there's a lighthouse, and the road toward this lighthouse, it's
Hmm.
has this kind of special light. So this from there. Then this is also Ibiza, which is has this kind of water and has these night parties and these special
Yeah, that's one of
nights.
my favorite.
So
That's one of my favorite palettes right there.
yeah. Yes, a lot of people love that because it brings something that you really can, I think something that you can feel like, yeah, it reminds me really it's really abstract and it's only the colors, but they take you there. This is something in this is a part of the forest in my grandmother's village, which is a super small village in the city center of Spain. This is what I was talking about food, this
Food.
tortilla inspiration, because it's something that food and the colors of the food are also part of what goes with me. This is one of my favorite ones, this color palette, because it brings me to the seaside and the coast and some of these beaches that are really with nobody because they are for fishermen and yeah, they have these small houses where they keep their boats and yeah,
Okay.
olive trees, of course, is part of our landscape and part of me. And this is La Barca, the boat. This color palette, it's called the boat because it also has this kind of red and blues there. And this is
Great.
yeah. So they are
And
on the paella one, which is really really. But this is true. It's like it's something that goes with us. We here, yeah. I think I'm used to share a lot of time talking and having nice conversations while eating with friends or family and colleagues. So it's a big part of our culture, our traditions, and food also have the colors and something that if I can, if some, yeah, that I think even without being in purpose, something of this goes to my art when I work on, yeah. So here we are. These were some of the inspirations for the colors.
excellent. And then what about the names behind these color palettes? Are those, related to like the photos of the food, and then do you name it after the food that, that's causing the inspiration, or is this just like, is it separate, related to something else?
The names of the color palettes come from what they are. What's the source of their
Okay.
inspiration? Yeah. So I'm naming
Great.
them in Catalan, which is my mother tongue, and I think it's also nice because maybe for the rest of the world it sounds something abstract, but at the end it's like if I use some color palettes that are related to boats and I call them La Barca,
La Barca.
it's
Okay.
something that even without knowing, but I think something there that can pop in people's imagination and
Hmm.
tells stories and tells or explains a really small story, which is what I can share with people, and I think that's nice. So I named them after what they represent.
Okay. And then, are there any places that you hope to, visit over, the next several months or years to get even more inspiration for color palettes or ideas? Obviously with like the pandemic, that might have been a little bit more challenging, but, once maybe things are a little bit easier, are there any, travel plans where you want to visit to hopefully get inspiration from other locations?
I would love to travel around. We have also had some chat sharing in Discord channel
Hmm.
in our blog's Discord, where we have been sharing photos of, yeah, people on Discord have been sharing with me photos of their places as I'm sharing
Okay.
photographs of my landscapes, which have been a source of inspiration. And some of them, one place in Turkey, one place in Peru, were like, whoa, I want to visit those places.
Yeah.
Because if they are sharing, okay, this is my source of inspiration, these are my secret places, and it was like, oh, that's awesome. I want to be there. I would love to visit these places because they are really, really, really inspiring. And we were sharing some photographs and were really, really cool.
Excellent.
So I would love to travel, of course, but we have a this yeah, not so easy situation.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
let's see, maybe in 1 year or two. But I can travel around
Yeah,
Spain
I'm
or
sure there's a lot to
go,
see over there.
yes, go closer, not that far, not big flights or travels, but yeah, not that
Okay.
bad. We have things around.
That's great. So, starting back in October, a few of the mints from Trossets were included in Crypto Roots, which is a Sonar plus D metaverse. Can you talk to us about that experience? And like, did they reach out to you, or did you know about this metaverse prior?
I didn't know. They just reached out. The curator just reached out, like, okay, I'm creating this metaverse. Quite weird. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's quite weird.
Yeah, I checked that out the other
Metaverse,
day.
yeah, metaverse exhibition, and it's like I want to have some of the crypto artists that you have been doing things this year, and I know about he knew about Trossets, so he wanted to include some of them, and I was like, cool, but Trossets are no longer mine, so I will ask collectors if they want to be there, and collectors were super into sharing their means and having their exhibited, and then we realized that the rest of the artists, it was a incredible list of artists. We were among artists that I have been following and admiring for years. And as Sonar Festival, it's a huge one. I think worldwide, really well known and a big one. Yeah, they have this connection with several artists, with the artists from all over the world, and we were having two sets with this huge, incredible, awesome. Oh my God! Oh, what other artists, and then I just sent the true sets. Okay, these are the ones that you can exhibit. And the curator came back to me like, okay, this is the metaverse, and the metaverse was like, boo, but this is a root of a tree, and it's nothing that I have ever seen before in a metaverse. We are more used to some
Yeah.
architectonical ways of exhibiting NFTs, but this time was like, okay, it's quite weird. But Sonar Festival has this weird imaginary and images. So yeah, let me show you. Yes,
Yeah, please.
a ver. Yeah, we have some newspaper, some magazine here. This is Sonar image. So they have always been using these trees with ears attached on it,
Oh,
and
interesting.
so they just used that. And our NFTs are lying in a coot ear, hanging on a root tree, which is quite weird. But it was really, really nice. Nice, different and weird exploration of how to show NFTs and exploring the different branches of that root. And then exploring different artists. That was cool.
That's
Actually,
awesome.
I enjoyed it a lot. Yes.
That's great. And what are your thoughts on, the metaverse and actually just showcasing art on like a screen, basically, like a digital screen? Do you find that to be like the next, big thing as far as sharing art with other people, or do you still find the more traditional way of, going to museums and gallery spaces? Do you still find that to be kind of the main way for people to view art?
Mm. I'm sure viewing art on screens will be the next thing to see. We have to work on that because screens sometimes are tiring and we can get tired. But I'm sure that in some years or months we have something better that we can share. It it's it's the digital era.
Yeah.
We are digital. We have experiences digital. We have relations digitally. We consume art and culture and music digitally. We pay digitally. So yeah, for me it's something that just came naturally. And if we are building and doing and creating digital art, it's something that it's just fits perfect. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, let's see. But nonetheless, I have some framed artworks also
Yeah,
because
I
I
think
like.
that's always good to have, some physical pieces. I think that, like you said, the technology, I think, still needs to improve. It needs to become more affordable for people to actually purchase them. And then, obviously
Yes,
more customizable so that it's not just like one, a rectangular screen. We need like circles and squares. And yeah, I think
yes, yes,
there's,
sure.
hopefully in the next year or two, things will improve. And
Yes, and something more customizable that you can like, okay, my collection will be there, but now I want just to see that part of my collection, or for today I just want to see that piece because I yesterday I felt in love and I want to see that means just for the whole week or the rest of the day or the rest of the week. So something that gives us more the opportunity to have it, yes, yeah, and to
got it.
yeah, to just have the opportunity to enjoy these arts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think yeah, everyone wants to share the art that they're collecting, but there's only so
yes,
many ways we can do it now, and like I said, in the next year or two, I think that's gonna completely
sure.
change.
Yes, I'm sure new things will come up and people will, because we are eager to share that art and be be able to see and admire it and contemplate it. So if people just wants to do that, we have creative minds. We will end up with some sort of idea or solution to do that. Yeah, I'm sure
Absolutely,
new
and
things will come. Yeah, this year was crazy.
it
Next year
was.
will be. See, come on, Lale.
Yeah, it's been a
This
wild,
year
wild
was.
year for everyone. So I think
See,
all of us are
see,
excited to be on, be here for the ride and to see how things evolve. But I want to ask you
see.
actually, do you have any plans for a playground drop on art blocks in the future? Or is that something you're thinking about or working on right now?
Constantly thinking about that. Yes, I'm planning it for next year. Yeah, so no rush because I want to have the space and the time
Hmm.
to think about that properly, to work on that, and to come with something that I think can be fun. So I want to get fun doing the playground. That's why it's the playground,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it will be totally different from Trossets
Okay.
because I want to experiment and to, yeah, just to play around and see what happens. But yes, I'm planning, but for next year, maybe, yeah, no rush here in Barcelona. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Absolutely. Um,
Yes.
so mental health. I feel like I'm bringing this up a lot, but I think it's super important to talk about. Mental health is so important in this space because things change so quickly and rapidly. How do you wind down once a project is fully minted? Or, I mean, I think you kind of touched base on it earlier. Like even while you're coding, I know you mentioned you like to go on walks and hikes, but is there anything else you do to kind of mentally just kind of decompress after a project or to get away from this space, which sometimes can be good and bad?
Mm. You have seen, I love eating, I love beer, so for me it's something, and I love wine.
Okay.
I'm in Spain, come on.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
agree.
there's something like a ritual for me every day at the end of the day. I take beer or maybe a cup of wine, and it's like the moment when, and it's not something after a big project or something like that, because you have always something there that
Hmm.
it's, yeah, going around, and you have ideas, or yeah, but like this kind of mm, piece and poses you once per day. For me, it's working a lot. So it's like cooking, having the time for cooking, and which makes you being, yeah, concentrated in other things while taking a cup of wine or beer. And that's for me the way to be a little bit away of
Yeah.
social media, of tweeting or being in Discord all the time,
Mhm.
and taking things, yes, with no rush, and having the time for yeah, for
Great.
being, yes,
I appreciate
quiet.
you talking about that. Yeah. Do you have any, favorite books or resources that you use? And, as far as like recommending them to other artists or maybe to people such as myself who hope to one day, learn how to code?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead and grab it. Yeah. Take your time. I love it. Looks like a lot of resources.
Yes, that. I'm back.
Okay.
This one is the best one for me to
Generative
get
design.
started. Maybe not started, but yeah. So nice projects at the beginning from different artists. Oh, and then there's code also. In some parts of code, you have snippets to work on that. Everything is online, so you can share and learn. They have a web page where everything is there, and I think it's something that step by step, yeah, lets you, yeah,
Great.
be
And is there
quite.
who's the author of that book or who put that book together just in case anyone watching would like to, check it
I
out?
I won't be able to pronounce that. I think they are from Germany, but I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can see it. Heart. Maybe I won't even give it a. I think everyone that's watching might be able to. Okay.
Okay.
There's a link in the Discord that Luke put. So for anyone watching, yeah, Luke just dropped a Amazon link. So appreciate that, Luke.
Perfect.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that.
It's
Do you have
it's a
any?
it's a heavy one.
Yeah, that looks like a thick one.
A
Looks
lot
like
of
something with a lot
knowledge
of
inside.
visuals and yeah, I'll definitely have to check
Yes.
that out. Do you have any other
Yes.
artwork available on, platforms outside of Art Blocks?
Just one. I have another artwork in feral file.
Feral
I
File. Okay.
was in the, yeah, I can share that with you. I was invited for the first exhibition for the inauguration of the platform,
Oh, okay. That was back
and I
in, I want
think,
to say the springtime, maybe?
yes, I can
Or
share
I
that with
guess
you.
for here, yeah. So maybe like, is that like in April or maybe May?
Yeah, that was in March,
All right, give
March
us 1 second and we'll go ahead
2021.
and patch that in.
Yeah, it's this social codes exhibition in profile, and I was there with Dimitri and Manolo, and this is mine, which is really different from Trossets because it has another kind of feeling, but it's
Mhm.
also inspired in Spanish landscape,
Cool. We'll go ahead
as
and
you can
patch that in
imagine.
so
So
that the community can check this out.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
and this
beautiful
one
piece.
it's a generative animated one. So this is generative, but it's also animated.
Okay.
It's like always creating. I don't know if you can see the
Looks
screen,
like it's
and
still loading.
yeah, it's loading. Yeah, and yeah, and it was loading and there, but you can check
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
We can check it
it's
out. I know
it's
it
a
looks
little
like
bit more than
yeah, it
that.
looks like D Bachman dropped a link inside of Discord for anyone
Yes,
watching right now. So
yeah,
definitely have to check that out. So that was
yes,
under Feral File, and that was released
yes,
earlier this year. Well, that's great. Well,
yes.
how can people reach you? Should they have any questions, or do you have any like social media plugs that you'd like to include to people watching?
Yeah, sure. I'm I'm on Twitter and I'm tweeting a lot about generative art there and things going on in Barcelona and Spain, Europe mostly, and then generative art in general, but with this kind of approach, more local approach that you can, yeah, follow there are a lot of news and things that I'm working on, several projects I'm working on. And then I have a web page where everything is recap. My 20 years of being a creative coder and doing generative art is there. But yeah, mainly in Twitter, they can reach me, they can DM me. Also on Discord, I'm usually checking my Discord channel, Artblocks channel. So yeah, just I hope you have a lot of questions and we can share a lot of things. So
Yeah,
people,
absolutely.
yeah, just
Well,
see, go on.
well, Anna, I wanted to thank you so much for joining us today to talk about Trossets, which was your first project on Art Blocks, curated piece. Yeah, super excited to hear what you come up with, next year for your playground project, and yeah, just really, really excited and glad that you could join us today on After Dinner Mints.
Thanks for inviting me. It was nice to have this chat. Yeah,
Absolutely.
super.
Um,
Sí, bravo. Ole,
yeah.
ole.
And this is our first, live stream for an afternoon version, to help cater to other people like outside of the U.S. and North America. So I hope people that are tuning in. We're going to try to do this, once a month. Hopefully get someone from abroad so that we can talk to them, and we'll change up the time just a little bit to hopefully, have people tune in. With that being said, I am going to move on to the Squiggle Giveaway. I'll post the link shortly. That will lead you to 4 trivia questions. Most answers can be found on the community-driven Artblocks wiki page, which is artblocks.wiki. I'll go ahead and drop that link a couple times. You'll have 90 seconds to answer all 4 questions. So I'm going to drop this a couple times right now. Sorry, it feels like I'm spamming the page, but just want to make sure everyone can see the link. So good luck to everyone. As I said, you'll need to answer all 4 questions correctly. And for those who get all answers correct within 90 seconds, their names will be put into a random number generator, and one person will be the winner of a brand new squiggle. And we will try and mint that squiggle a little bit later today. But yeah, definitely want to give this away now. And then good luck to everyone. And while we are
Suerte,
waiting,
suerte.
yeah, and while we're waiting, we have about 45 seconds. I didn't receive any love to see it highlights of the week, but for anyone that has a love to see it highlight of the week, which is basically showcasing something positive going on in the Discord community, please drop me a DM so we can share some positive highlights from the Art Blocks Discord. And with about 25 seconds, I'll go ahead and kind of release. We have a couple news and notes. Our next curated drop is on Monday, November 22nd at 12 p.m. Central Time. It's called Autology by Steganon. More details will be released later on this week. And some exciting news is that Art Blocks officially turns 1 year old this week. The platform officially launched on Black Friday of last year, which I believe was, let me look it up just so I don't butcher it. It would be on November 27th of last year. So almost 1 year. I'm glad that everyone watching, tuning in, and if you're here for the first time, really appreciate you all tuning in. It's been a wild first year. And it looks like time is up. We have 53 people that correctly answered all 4 questions correctly. So without further ado, Luke, if you don't mind firing up the random number generator. So we'll give that a couple seconds. Good luck to everyone. Looks like entry number 21. Oh, it looks like one of the artists. I forget how to pronounce it. Do you want to drop it in the DM? Phoenicia? Sorry, I apologize if I'm butchering it, but I'm trying to put it out there. But Luke is going to go ahead and drop that inside of the Discord channel right now. Let's see. There we go. Here, I have the name. Phoenic. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, that's right. It's a Jacob Gold. So congratulations, Jacob Gold. Feel free, or not feel free, but please drop me your wallet address. Just shoot me a DM, and hopefully later on today, we'll go ahead and mint that squiggle. So congratulations to Jacob Gold. All right. And yeah, on next week's show, which will be pre-recorded due to the holidays for those of us stateside, on Wednesday, November 24th, we're going to release an episode with Dan Calderon, a.k.a. Dan. It should be a fantastic show. We're going to talk about the history of generative art, and we will have a small coding session. So that'll be very fun and entertaining. I look forward to learning a little bit about generative art. Hopefully you all can tune in. I want to thank you, Anna Carreras, for joining me on After Dinner Mints. I really appreciate you joining us. It's been a pleasure to talk about your project and learning about your background. For anyone tuning in, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the Art Blocks YouTube channel. As always, be kind to each other, buy what you love, set up a hardware wallet if you haven't done so already, and we will see everyone next week. Thanks, Anna. Hope you all have a great day.
Adeu! Uhul, ole, ole.